Welcome to yet another talk with Mr. Daniel Steinman on EconoChat. Let's talk business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. I'm your hostess, Elsa Ritibunyani. Warm welcome to everyone tuned in right now. And today we will be talking about something that we are all talking about currently. Welcome, Mr. Daniel Steinman.
Thank you, Elsa B. And also good morning, good afternoon to our listeners.
Yes, so we are heading into the transport and energy industry. We're talking about, the taxi fare that went up. People are complaining. People are saying, if the taxi fare is going up, the food prices are going up, petrol and diesel prices are going up, but the salaries are not going up. So let's just start there. How will we be able to deal with this as a normal citizen?
Elsa B, I first have to correct your vocabulary.
Okay.
There's no normalcy in what we are facing for the second half of this year.
Yeah.
So the concept of a normal Namibian citizen is doomed.
Oh, I do agree with that.
It's a reboot of the beginning of 2022. When Russia invaded Ukraine, and there was this major energy crisis in Europe, but it didn't affect us really. Now the USA has invaded Iran, and there's this big fight over the small piece of sea, and now it affects us directly. And the reason is not because we are such a big consumer. In terms of worldwide fuel consumption, Namibia is really tiny. But it is not as if we are less dependent on energy than any big economy. It is just that we use it in smaller volumes, but that is in relation to the size of our population.
Yes.
And now you will realize, or you will know just as well as any other Namibian, that our per capita energy spend is relatively higher than in any other country. And the reason is very simple, because we are so few, and because the country is so big. So everything that we do is multiplied by the distance that we have to do it over. And you will also see that in the note that I've given you is that we are complaining about the taxi fares now. They're going up from 13 to 15, and this is the base rate. And as you also know, as well as I do, that in taxi commutes, there's always a negotiated rate, and then there's a demand rate. The official rate may go up to 15, but if there are standing 200 people on the corner of the street, the first guys with $20 in their hand, they climb in first, And if you only have $12, you have to wait until 7:30 that evening before you get a ride. But if you go on the indicated rate, it is a 6.5% increase. Now you have to realize that taxi fares in general are not lagging growth in the rest of the economy. Taxi fares go up every year. They are adjusted, but meaningfully. There's always these negotiations and these discussions, and I always find, if I look what comes out of those meetings, that there's a balance between the need for the taxi owner to make a profit and the demand from the commuter to get to work and to get to his home. But 6.5% is double the average inflation rate. So immediately you can see there's an external component. So there's a economic variable that is not captured in the rest of the data that we work off. So it is out of line, out of sync with the rest of the economy, and the reason is what I've said earlier, is that the fuel price has exploded. Crude has exploded because of events far outside our borders, not because of anything that we did. And this time I must even give the South Africans off reluctantly, that it's not even their fault. It's very far away, but the impact is direct. It's like inflation and interest rates. I've explained the dynamics there often, and also that basically we don't set them, but we can't escape the impact.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that if you have to pay $2 more on your taxi commute, it's $4. And remember, I said this is the standardized rate or the indicated rate. Huh? Let's say in a day you're looking at about $5 more. So it's $25 in a week. It's just over $100 in a month. $100 doesn't sound like a lot, but to some people it is important. And if there are 3 or 4 children that have to go to school by taxi, and there's a mommy and a daddy, now suddenly you're looking at $600. Well, let's be conservative and say between $500 and $600. Now it starts becoming an issue, and it's affecting that bracket of the population that can least afford it. Not because they don't have an income, but because that income is split up. You know what it's like, that thing, 3 days off the month, and every split has taken up a little bit of that salary. So then it becomes an issue. Yeah. Then it is no longer just academic. Then it becomes actually very important.
And on that one, let's quickly go for a short break. We will be back, and we will be talking about the cargo trucks.